They showed their character once again today.
Yeah, they absolutely did against Hellas Verona side, Dan. That's really well drilled under Ivan Juric, takes you away from what you want to do. But it's really the story about the starting lineup, right? Because there's this whole thing, maybe people who haven't followed us closely think Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a goal a game. Without him, this isn't the same Milan. He's the main reason why they're where they are. Now, you could make a case in certain games, but if you actually look back at half the games that Zlatan Ibrahimovic missed this season, Milan did just fine. They've struggled with him on the pitch. I'm not saying it's his fault, but in 2021, when they had most of their more important players back, is when they were dropping points. In this game, no Theo Hernandez, no Ismail Benasser, no Hakan Çalhanoğlu, no Simon Kjaer, no Ibrahimovic. The list goes on and on. Ante Rebic. And they played very well. This was mostly the rotation players. About half the usual starters were missing. And to put this performance against an Hellas Verona side that has taken points against the big boys in Serie A, I think was a huge win, putting even more pressure tomorrow on Inter against Atalanta and what's going to be a really tricky fixture.
Yeah, big statement today, Gab.
Huge statement. And look, say it softly. I think Matteo danced around it there. But Milan's points per game average is actually higher without Zlatan than with Zlatan. Now, obviously, it's not a binary situation. But when they're without him, when they have Rafael Leao up front, when the haters shut up and stop saying, Rafael Leao is not a center forward, what's he doing? And they play fast and they play with intensity, they can go and they can certainly beat up teams like Verona and I think bigger teams as well.
Let's just confirm how Juve and where they are this season. Third in the league, of course, through to the round of 16. That huge game against Porto. We'll talk about that in a moment. Final of the Coppa Italia. Champions, as Ali mentioned, of the Italian Super Cup. Gab, there's no such thing as a transitional season for Juventus.
Yeah, that's what Juve people are taught to say and to repeat endlessly. Fortunately, I'm not a Juventino, so I don't have to say that. Unlike Ale Del Piero, who was, capped on the side, played for them 500 odd times, if not more. This is whatever they say. This is a transition season. Obviously, they still have tremendous players, they're tremendous teams, but it's not some sort of binary equation where all of a sudden, we need to win, and we don't win, and so therefore we're going to chuck the baby out with the bathwater. That's not what it means. And I think, when you take a step back, when you look at what Fabio Paratici is trying to get the club to do, they believe that this is the right path. And as I've said many times, it might not be Pirlo who takes you there, but they're moving in the right direction.
So I understand, Gab, the pretty picture that you're painting. However, there would be a massive blot on that picture if they don't get past Porto this week.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, before you talked about how wonderful their victory over Lazio was, I thought the first 20 minutes, and not just because they gifted Lazio the goal, I thought they were absolutely terrible. And I agree with you. You go out in the round of 16, it's a massive blow, especially knowing how you lost that first leg, and you only have yourself to blame. So I think these are all important points. I think they have to go through. I think that's why Cristiano didn't start against Lazio, to make sure that he's fresh. He played every game midweek and weekend, I think, since the beginning of January. But that said, I think what's really encouraging here is they show that they can beat Lazio without Cristiano, and that is a big step forward in terms of having faith in their own abilities. And also, they can deal with a bunch of absences. You can go and play Alexandro at center back. You can play Danilo in midfield. You can play Bernardeschi at left back in a 4, and they can still win. And I think I think all of these things build the confidence. Of course, it could all go out the window if they get hammered by Porto.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.